Welcome to Agile Leaders Conversations. Agile Leaders Conversations is a series of dialogues where we engage industry leaders in discussions of how they see and apply agility and navigate paradoxes as they lead and pivot in the new normal. My name is Chuen Chuen and I'm an executive coach who specializes in leadership agility. My guest today is Mr. Christian Kostner. Christian is a veteran sales leader who has a wealth of experience in leadership and coaching. Let me hand over the time to Christian to share a little about himself. Christian?
Hello, good afternoon, Chuen Chuen. It's very great privilege to be with you today and to speak to you people around the world, especially in lovely Singapore. And I'm very happy to do so. I'm since a good number of years now in sales. And over the time, I processed up my career to be more in leadership now, the last 10 plus years. And over this time, I developed a real great desire to learn more about leadership and how to do this well. So my daily practice is about sales, business development, and in this leadership, because in the last couple of years, the business model, what we are doing, transformed a lot. I'm working for a small and medium-sized enterprise here in Germany, but the things what I'm doing is that I help our daughter companies, our distributors all around the world to apply and to promote our products in a more effective way. And so it's a lot of sales talks, training on the job, but also investment in people and helping our partners to be more effective.
So you're in this very important work of building capability, increasing effectiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Christian is joining us from Germany, and it's now 1 p.m. in Singapore, so it is extremely early in Germany. Thank you so much for joining the call very, very early today. So Christian and I, we connected on LinkedIn after he read my book. And so out here, I want to invite Christian to share your general thoughts of the book after reading it.
Yeah, you see, I made a lot of notes, with the book, and it's a great book. So if you had not the chance so far to buy it, I highly recommend it. It's called The 8 Paradoxes of Leadership Agility. And what I really liked about the book, it's really practical. And in the beginning, I thought, okay, it's very easy. And then I came to realize that there's a lot of deep thoughts below the book, and so it took a couple of chapters for me to resonate and to coming along with the meaning of it. And there was one chapter which resonated very much because it reflected my life at a certain time in my life, and that was about chapter 8. And in this example, you mentioned a person you called Kelly. And Kelly is one of these ambitious executives very early in her career, and she really is used to be promoted every couple of months or years. And she's constantly switching companies and being promoted one step after the next one. And you met her probably at a time where she came to a kind of a plateau with no further rise. And then usually at this stage, you have a time of self-questioning where you think, okay, shall I just switch jobs in order to get the next kick, the next excitement? And what you described as Kelly was rather a more holistic picture of being a leader. Yeah. And she realized that now it's a time, to do things beside of her work, and to get a more complete understanding what life is all about. And what resonated very much with me was the picture of this tree. That is not a tree with just one branch, your career and your earning, but it's rather a more holistic picture, about the family. It's about the relationship with the parents. It's about the relationship with your inner self. And this draws a picture of a more complete person. And that helped me also, when I was a bit younger, you were really ambitious and you really wanted to excel in life and you're coming along. And then I realized that this is not enough because I neglected relationships with my family and with other people around me. And so it really showed that, even there's not an immediate procession in the career. When you learn to fill the other areas of your life with meaningful things, you're becoming a much better leader as well, because one area is influencing the other one. If you have peace at home, you are more effective at work. If you're good at work, you're probably a more holistic person with yourself. And if you're doing some reflecting on what's going on in your life and you're adjusting the different areas, then the complete picture becomes much more holistic and whole.
So I think, Christian, you pointed out one thing that is really key for leaders to understand. To advance in our career and to be better leaders, what we need is probably to also take care of the other parts of our lives which are equally important, and make sure that we can then continue to grow as a person and as a result become much better leaders.
What I found out, it has a lot to do with your mindset. So the word mindset, it means where you set your mind and where you concentrate on. And I realized, that a lot of focus especially in our world, is just money, money, prestige, outward appearance. And then when you have just a mindset on that, you're missing a lot of life, because you're missing a lot of the deeper things. You're missing a lot of family time. You're missing a lot of other activities which could enrich your life. And so it's important to realize that your identity is not connected with your job. And sometimes you have to realize it's only if you're struggling, or if things are not going smooth, then you realize suddenly that it's not all about things and outward things and money and prestige and status. It's more about what is inside you.
I think materials are only one aspect of what's important in our lifetimes. And given that we only live once, perhaps this is a question that leaders can ask themselves and gauge, how are they measuring their lives. So there was a definition of leadership agility and paradoxes in the book. So I'm wondering, how do you see leadership agility and paradoxes from your point of view?
That's a very good point. And I think in our world, which is described as the VUCA world, volatile and a constant change, and no more stable. When I go back to the time of my parents, my father, he stayed for over 40 years in one company. Yeah, and basically that is the way the generations before him were also used to do. And they hardly had any interruption. They even did not think about change. And for us, change is just part of daily life. And that is something what a lot of people still do not realize. They're thinking back about the good old times. But we, especially as leaders, we have to be agile and keeping our mind set on the proactive mode. Yeah, to be anticipative, initiative driven, and just looking for opportunities, because in nowadays it's very difficult on one side in business, but on the other side there are more opportunities today than there was ever before, and everyone can reach it, especially because of modern technology, the internet, the possibility to do business with different cultures for everyone. So the key for our leader is to be agile in your mind, and then transforming the agility of your mind into your area of reach, not in the organization in general, because that's usually too big, but in your little area, your department, the people you're interacting, and keeping them agile in order to adapt to the change in the world around you.
So there is that keeping a lookout for the opportunities they are available, that recognizing that things are not the same as before and that we are actually changing every day, and that is going to be a norm, right? There's no more of I guess not. Okay, I can't say no more. I probably much lesser of staying on in the same company for a long time. And even among my clients, those who are very tenured, they stay with companies for a long time. They are still evolving and still able to be agile and grow and change in that same company.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, you have to always keep learning. Yeah, that is one of the things which is a very dear value of myself, the lifelong learning. And this involves not only the mental aspect, but also, you know, the practical aspect. You know, for example, for the, let's say, older people, people over 50 or 60, you know, to be able to use videos, for example, making videos on LinkedIn, making videos on YouTube, adopting to things like TikTok or to, you know, just modern things. And that keeps the brain alive and agile as well. Yeah, and younger people can learn from the older people about a lot of things also. So what I see right now is that, especially, let's say, what we call the millennials, people less than 30 years old, I see a very big desire to learn from older people, but I also see a lot of older people willing to learn from the younger ones. And that is something what was in the previous generation. It was more, these are here and we are here. You know, it was not so much interwoven or connecting. And so I think that's a great thing what is happening right now, that people, despite of their age, trying to learn from each other.
Mm-mm. So it is this spirit of lifelong learning that is associated with leadership agility, intergenerational connecting, bonding. It's not just the younger generation who can learn from the older, more experienced generation in maybe management and leading or business acumen, and it's also the other way around. The more mature workers or leaders can also learn from the younger ones, especially when they are digital natives.
This is a mindset as well, you know, because if you think as a leader, you know, you're the smartest cookie in the room, then you're probably in the wrong room, you know. And the thing is, you know, whoever I meet, I can learn something, even if it's just learning how not to do something. Yeah. But in the most people I meet, I find very inspiring, because they are usually experts in a niche which I am not an expert. And so I can connect my experience and my knowledge of products, of processes, with their experiences in their industry. And together I can form an offer which is a win-win situation for me and my company, as well as for their company.
What is your advice for veteran and aspiring leaders out there?
The most important thing is that you're working with a good coach. I had at various stages in my life a coach and always some mentors which helped me as a kind of a sounding board, just listening and trying to help me to connecting with my inner self. Yeah, a lot of people and leaders are afraid of that, and they are afraid because they don't know what's coming out. And what I realized is you can only reach a certain level without understanding yourself, because in the end of the day, everything what you do is triggered by your inner self, by your values, by your past experience, by your emotions. Yeah, and if you're not dealing early in life with that, it will come out later at a point where you cannot handle it anymore, and then it needs much more time and energy to fix it. Yeah, so that is something, actually, you know, the younger generation is much more aware than the older generation. And it's not a sign of weakness to asking for help and to employing a coach. Yeah. And so I would advise you get as much help as you can, read, study, but also have a continuous reflection and use someone as a sounding board with more experience, with intelligent questions, to help you to move to the next level. Because without the thinking, you will only be able to reaching a certain plateau and then not improving anymore.
Very, very wise words. You are talking about this personal mastery for leaders and being connected with our emotions. And it's just a matter of time, whether it will come out now or come out later. And if later it does, then these things do come out, sometimes the consequences can be a little bit more expensive. And it's better to then to start this inner journey earlier than later. So personal mastery is one. Asking for help is not a weakness. I think that was another very wise thing that you said. Yeah, this is really great. And read more, reflect, and things like that. Thank you so much, Christian, for spending your precious time, your very early morning, sharing your insights with us. And I'm sure for the viewers, you might be interested to know more about how to collaborate and learn from Christian. He's really a very experienced sales leader. Christian, could you share with them where and how they can find you?
Yeah, very well. I'm very happy to connect to everyone on LinkedIn. And also I have a weekly video blog called Leadership Wednesday. Just follow the hashtag Leadership Wednesday or hashtag Christian Customer. And I'm sharing my 50 cents of leadership, of personal development, more or less on a weekly basis. There are over 60 episodes already available. And if you want to connect with me and ask specific question, I'm an open networker and I am very happy to help or to share.
Thank you so much. I think sharing your insights is definitely one of the best gifts that a leader can give to everyone. So I will insert Christian's LinkedIn link and where you can find his blog in the post. So thank you so much for making time again, and let's stay in touch.
Thank you very much for reaching out, and make sure that you buy the book. It's a fantastic read, and thank you for having me on the show, Chuen Chuen.